The message reached Admiral Helena Cross at exactly 0347 hours. She was sleeping in her quarters aboard the Imperial dreadnought Vengeance when her communication officer woke her with trembling hands. The young officer could not speak. He simply handed her the datapad and stepped back. Helena read the words 3 times before they made sense. Outpost Sigma-7 had gone silent. The last transmission was a single sentence from Station Commander Marcus Webb. It said only this: "We are still here." Outpost Sigma-7 was a small station on the edge of human space. It sat on a frozen moon circling a dead planet in a system nobody cared about. The station housed 43 crew members. Their job was simple. They watched the border. They reported any movement from the Victari Dominion. They were not soldiers. They were observers, scientists, engineers. Families lived there too. Children played in the recreation halls while their parents tracked sensor data. The Victari had broken the treaty. Everyone knew they would eventually. The insectoid species had signed the peace agreement 5 years ago after humans pushed them back from the Chiron sector. They had lost that war badly. Their hive ships burned in the void. Their warrior caste died by the millions. They agreed to peace because they had no choice. But the Victari never forgot. They never forgave. And they never truly accepted that humans had beaten them. Helena dressed quickly and made her way to the command bridge. Her officers were already assembled. Their faces showed the same cold anger she felt in her chest. The main screen displayed the last sensor readings from Sigma-7. 12 Victari cruisers had appeared from a hidden jump point. The station had no weapons capable of fighting back. They had sent a distress call immediately. Then they had watched death approach across the stars. The recording showed everything. Helena forced herself to watch it all. The Victari ships surrounded the station. They did not demand surrender. They did not attempt communication. They simply opened fire. The station's shields held for 18 minutes. During those 18 minutes, Commander Webb kept transmitting. He reported damage. He reported casualties. He reported the names of people as they died. When the shields failed, he was still talking. His last words were calm. He said he was proud of his people. He said they had not run. He said they were still at their posts. The Victari boarded what remained of the station. The recording showed their warriors moving through broken corridors. They found humans still alive. Engineer Sarah Chen had barricaded herself in the reactor room. She was bleeding from her head, and her left arm hung useless at her side. When the Victari broke through her barrier, she did not beg. She activated the manual override and vented plasma through the section. She killed herself and 17 enemy warriors. She smiled as she died. Dr. James Okonkwo was found in the medical bay. He had moved all the wounded to the back room and sealed the door. He stood in front of that door with a surgical laser in his hand. The weapon was meant for cutting bone during surgery. It was not meant for combat. James used it to burn through the eyes of 3 Victari before they cut him down. The wounded behind the door survived for 4 more minutes. The children's shelter was the last place to fall. Teacher Ana Reyes had gathered 12 children and hidden them in a storage compartment. She told them stories to keep them quiet. She told them about Earth, about blue oceans and green forests, about a sun that felt warm on your skin. The Victari found them eventually. Ana stepped out of the compartment to face the warriors. She had no weapon. She had no chance. But she bought the children 30 more seconds of life. Those 30 seconds meant nothing in the end. But she gave them anyway. Not one person on Sigma-7 surrendered. Not one person begged for mercy. Not one person abandoned their duty. They died at their posts, all 43 of them. Helena turned away from the screen. Her hands were shaking, not from fear, from rage. Pure and absolute rage. She looked at her officers. She saw the same fire in their eyes. The Victari had made a terrible mistake. They thought humans were soft. They thought the peace had made humanity weak. They thought this attack would frighten the Empire into giving them what they wanted. They were wrong. The Imperial fleet assembled within 6 hours. 12 dreadnoughts, 38 cruisers, over 100 support vessels. It was the largest military gathering since the end of the last war. Ships came from every corner of human space. Captains abandoned their patrol routes. Commanders left their stations unmanned. Everyone wanted to be part of what came next. Admiral Cross addressed the fleet from her command chair. Her voice was steady, but her words carried weight. She spoke of duty. She spoke of sacrifice. She spoke of the 43 names now carved into human memory. She said they would not demand explanations. They would not seek negotiations. They would not accept surrender. The Vektari wanted war. They would receive war. The fleet jumped to Vektari space in a single coordinated movement. They arrived at the edge of the Dominion's home system. Warning signals immediately flooded all channels. The Vektari had been expecting retaliation. They had assembled their own fleet. 80 ships waited in defensive formation around their homeworld. Their commanders broadcasted messages claiming the attack was a rogue action. They said the responsible parties would be punished. They offered compensation. They offered territory. They offered anything to avoid what was coming. Helena ignored every message. She gave one order: attack. The battle lasted 11 hours. Human ships fought with a fury the Vektari had never seen. Pilots flew their fighters directly into enemy gun ports. Cruiser captains rammed their vessels into hive ships when their weapons failed. A destroyer called the 43 led every charge. Its crew had painted names on its hull, 43 names. They fought as if death meant nothing, because it did not. Not compared to what had been lost. The Vektari fought back with everything they had. Their warriors were born for combat. Their ships were designed for war, but they could not match human anger. They could not understand it. To them, 43 lives were meaningless, a rounding error. They sacrificed thousands of their own kind without hesitation. They could not comprehend why humans would burn an empire for such a small number. That was their greatest failure. They never understood that humans did not measure worth by numbers. Every life mattered. Every death demanded an answer. The 43 were not statistics. They were sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, friends and lovers. They were people who had trusted their government to protect them. That trust had been broken. It would be repaid. One by one, the Vektari ships fell. Their defensive lines collapsed. Their reinforcements were intercepted and destroyed. Helena pushed her fleet deeper into enemy space. She ignored pleas for ceasefire. She ignored offers of total surrender. Her ships bombed military installations. They destroyed shipyards. They eliminated every facility capable of producing weapons. The Vektari Hive Council finally managed to establish direct communication. Their leaders appeared on Helena's screen. They were terrified. Their compound eyes reflected the fires burning across their world. They begged for mercy. They promised eternal peace. They offered to become subjects of the human empire. Anything to make the killing stop. Helena let them speak. Then she responded. She said she would accept surrender. But first, she required something. She required the 12 ships that attacked Sigma 7. She required every warrior who set foot on that station. She required them delivered alive. The Hive Council agreed within minutes. They had no choice. The prisoners arrived 2 days later. 347 Vektari warriors. They were brought before a military tribunal on the surface of their own world. Human soldiers lined the chamber. Cameras broadcast the proceedings across both empires. The universe watched as justice was delivered. Each prisoner was tried individually. Each was found guilty. Each was executed. The process took 9 days. Helena attended every moment. She read the names of the 43 before each sentence. She made certain the Vectari understood why they were dying, not for attacking humanity, not for breaking the treaty, for killing people who could not fight back, for murdering children, for thinking such actions would go unanswered. When the last prisoner fell, Helena addressed the Vectari people. Her words were translated into every language in their dominion. She told them what happened when you touched human citizens. She told them the price of human blood. She told them to remember this day, to teach their children about it, to never forget that humanity protected its own. The war ended that same day. The Vectari signed a new treaty. This one had no expiration date. This one gave humanity complete oversight of their military. This one ensured nothing like Sigma 7 would ever happen again. Helena returned to human space as a hero. Celebrations filled every world. People cheered in the streets. They waved flags and sang songs, but Helena did not celebrate. She went to Earth. She visited a memorial that had been built while she was fighting. It stood in a quiet garden overlooking the ocean. 43 pillars of white stone rose toward the sky. Each pillar bore a name. She walked among them slowly. She stopped at each one. She read the names aloud. Marcus Webb, Sarah Chun, James Okonkwo, Anna Reyes, all of them. She told them what she had done. She told them the galaxy now understood. She told them they had not died in vain. The sun was setting when she reached the last pillar. It belonged to a child named Tommy Reyes. He was 7 years old. He liked dinosaurs and chocolate cake. His mother had died trying to protect him. Helena placed her hand on the cold stone. She stood there until the stars came out. A young officer found her hours later. He said the council wanted to see her. They wanted to discuss her next assignment. Helena nodded. She took one last look at the memorial. 43 pillars standing against the night sky. 43 reminders of what humans were willing to do for their own. She walked away knowing one truth. The defenders had died at their posts, but they had not died alone. The entire human empire had risen to stand beside them, and their enemies had learned a lesson written in fire and blood. You could fight humanity, you could even kill them, but you would never break them, and you would always pay the price. The stars above Earth seemed brighter that night, as if 43 new lights had joined them, watching over humanity forever.